So my name is Nicole, and you know that this is AFI. Hi, guys. Thank you so much for coming here. What was it, breakfast with AFI? Or actually, it's like lunchtime with AFI. Davey, my fellow Scorpio, Davey. So I can't tell you how many shows we've seen, so many AFI shows. You have the deepest connection with your fans. It's incredible because I watch you time and again literally throw yourself out there, not knowing if these people are gonna catch you or not, and yet they do. So I wanna know about the dynamic between you and the crowd and what you see in the faces and what it feels like to literally just put all of your faith in their hands and fling yourself out there.
Well, it's interesting because really as a band, we put our lives in their hands,
yeah,
and have, figuratively and literally,
yes,
as you addressed, for many, many years because they've supported us and they've given us that confidence and they've given us that faith for many years. And where we came from as we were being raised on music and as we were growing as a band, and when we started a band, we came out of a community, less than a scene, but more of a community wherein everyone supported each other, and there were very strong bonds and relationships within that community. So when you bring up something like that, it's not something that I'm ever really conscious of, or we're really conscious of, because it's something that was so much a part of our lives and what informed us as musicians and informed us as a band, that we just grew into it, and we are so privileged to have fans who can relate to us in that way, who maybe didn't come from that community, and we've come so far musically from where we started that we've reached many, many different peoples, but that is something that has come with us the whole way, and it's something that we very, very much appreciate and we don't take for granted. And being here for breakfast and watching us play is one representation of that kind of support that is catching us. Being up in the morning is catching us when we play at breakfast. It's the same as falling from a stage and having someone be there to prevent you from hitting the ground.
It's amazing. So you guys are pretty badass fans, basically.
Yeah, thank you.
Speaking of relationships, Adam, this year it's going to be 20 years, believe it or not, 20 years since Shut Your Mouth and Open Your Eyes, which is incredible. And it's the first album that you guys all were on together, correct?
I sang.
Well, you sang on it, but technically, would it be, yeah, technically it's the first that the four of you were on. What would you say, Adam, is one thing that has not changed between the four of you?
You'll have to excuse me. It always takes me a second for my brain to start working after I play drums. So these guys are used to it. But, it doesn't matter how long we spend in the studio or how much time we spend preparing for records and stuff. One thing that doesn't change is just the synergy we have together as musicians. I think at this point, Hunter knows what I'm going to do before I do it. But also, I think very, very quickly, we all tapped into that type of understanding of each musician's skills and
it's got to be really comforting to know that the person next to you literally has your back like that. Like they can think for you, and that's why you guys gel so well together. It's beautiful to watch.
There's an interesting story. I was I can't remember what it was. I was in a Taco Bell or something. But I was spacing out and not really listening to the music that was being played, and my brain was focusing in on the bass line. And it turned out that it was a song that Hunter played on for Tegan and Sarah or something. It's a song I'd never heard before, but I was just subconsciously really listening to the bass line, and it turned out it was him. So
wow, Jade the Playa. When was the last time somebody called you Jade the Playa?
Since well before I met my wife.
Bringing it back. So Jade, I'm gonna entertain nostalgia for a second, and I just wanna go back. Can you remember the first time that you heard an AFI song on the radio? Take us back to that.
It was probably even before I was in the band, maybe. They got a little play up where in the Bay Area where we're from, just specialty little things here and there. And I was excited because you didn't hear punk music on the radio at all, any band really. This is kind of, well, I guess, when Green Day and Offspring kind of broke at that point. But, local bands, that was a special thing still. And to hear my friend's band on the radio, then that was even better.
What about, this is for all of you, what about hearing Snowcats on the radio for the first time? Does that change? Does the excitement, is there more pressure later on, or do you get equally as excited later on?
I'll tell you.
Please do, Hunter.
Hearing Snowcats for the first time on the radio was when KROQ debuted it. I want to say Striker 420.
Yep, that sounds about right.
And we were in the middle of shooting the video for the song at the time, and it was raining, and like ran out to my car so I could listen to it and got excited. So yeah, it was cool.
Oh, yay, that's so cool to hear. So Hunter, since I'm with you right now, I follow you a lot on social media. I think you guys do social media really well. You don't overdo it, you don't underdo it, you give just enough.
I way
Hunter,
underdo it.
Huh?
I way underdo it. I got one tweet
You
a year.
underdo it a little bit. You do underdo it a little
My
bit.
yearly tweet, though,
Davey-
is solid.
Yeah, you could throw in some more stuff. But Hunter is a lover of black and white photography. If you guys follow him, every once in a while he'll throw us a bone and like throw red shade in there or something.
I like to mix it up.
I always keep up with you guys, and I wanted to know. So we had an election this year. Believe it or not, you guys played Washington, and you posted a great picture of our nation's capital. What was the spirit of the crowd like in Washington?
The crowd was great. It was really great. I think it was sort of, despite whatever political views they may have had or how they felt about what was going on in the Capitol, the crowd was its own environment. And that's how it is for a lot of our shows. I think people come to our shows to sort of escape whatever is going on in their daily lives and experience like something that's more of a community. So
Social media can wreak havoc on the world, no pun intended. Given the choice, do you think that you could live without it?
We call him Wreak Havoc after a show. You know, he's like sweaty. His clothes are a little like, funky.
You don't. You actually, I'm right next to you. You don't smell that bad. You smell like a passion. You like that? Smell like afternoon passion is what you smell like. So could you guys live without social media if you had to?
yes, because
Gladly.
because we're old and so we remember before social media.
Okay, so now let's bring it around to the Blood album. Before it was even a thought, Davey, you guys were doing your own thing. I want to know when it was conceived in your mind, when it became real. Basically, when you first said, "I got something, we're gonna make an album." Let's do this.
See, that's not how it works really.
Tell me.
It's not a.
We're learning.
When we begin writing, it's not conceptual. It's never conceptual. And actually, the record isn't a concept record by any means. But there are themes that run through the record that are continuity, that have continuity. And we felt that the blood imagery and the blood title really tie that in well together. But it's really a process of writing and growing, and when Jade and I sit down and we start, the songs go many different directions. And one day we'll write a very minimal song, one day we'll write a very lush song. Sometimes we start with just Jade sitting there with he's playing guitar and he writes a riff at the moment. Sometimes he has a complete body of music that is already created that I listen to and I write a top line and then lyrics to. So it goes different ways. And in the writing process, we create far more songs than we actually end up putting on the record. So it's really after the culling process of those songs where we decide that songs are worthwhile enough to even show these guys, then we work them more and then distill them from there. So we don't really know what the album is going to be until very late in the process. But at that point, what it always is something that we feel strongly represents who we are at the time and that we're very proud of, and that's the case with the Blood record.
Jade, you were a producer on this album number 10. Can you believe they got to 10? I can.
I can.
So what were some of your favorite moments looking back playing producer on this album?
There was a little trepidation going in because I've never produced. Producing your own band, it can be weird. It could be weird. It could have been weird, and it wasn't. And it was very creative, and it flowed really well. Unless these guys hated it and they didn't tell me, but I think it was a good process, and it was actually very rewarding to finally hear the final product and be like, "Whoa, I didn't ruin the band,"
You really thought that for a second, though? You were really surprised that they took to it?
Well,
You know each other so well at this point.
Yeah, but I don't tell people what to do. We're a very democratic band, and so to be a producer is kind of being sort of a leader, even though I didn't tell anyone to do anything. I don't think I wasn't like one of those.
Bossy, Davey.
No, not at all.
Okay, good.
No, not at all.
How sweet is your
Bossy
face?
with him because we've been working together face to face for like 20 years, so we can boss each other around.
Yeah, I would
a
never
little
even
bit.
really perceive it as that. There was this, with Jade producing my vocals, there was a seamless process of writing, demoing, and actually tracking that is hazy to me. I can't really distinguish at what point it turned into those different, very distinctive moments, although not distinctive for me, distinctive for people who are listening in. And it was such a great process for me vocally because Jade knows my voice so well. He knows my voice better than most people in the world, the two gentlemen here aside. And one thing about Jade's production that I wanted to say is that on this Blood tour, we didn't rehearse very many of the Blood songs before leaving for the tour, and we started rehearsing them at soundcheck, which caused me to have to go back to the record and listen to it again and pay attention to the minutia of the songs. And man, unparalleled producing. I mean, just really,
Thank you.
yeah.
For Jade.
I meant. I was gonna mention this to Jade off camera, but why not on camera?
Not on camera.
Yeah, man.
Thank
That's
So-
some good producing, right?
Do you think you'll
Wow.
do it again, Jade?
Wow.
If these guys let me, I would do it again. Yeah.
You guys, what do you think? You'll let him do it again?
Ooh, put them on
Yeah?
the spot.
Now here's just a fun question. Let's say the apocalypse happens and you had to put one AFI album in a time capsule to be dug up by future generations. What album would that be?
Answer that and stay fashionable. I'm just kidding. Come on. I mean, the Blood record, for sure, as we just detailed, it really, really illustrates who we are as a band very strongly in a very informed way.
It's beautiful. I think you've married all your incarnations. It's a little bit of old school, middle school, new school. Do you have a favorite track on the album? It's hard. It's like picking your favorite kid.
I know it's so trite to say that,
Yeah,
but
but it's true.
It really is. They each mean very much to us, and they each made cuts that other songs didn't make. So there was there's a lot that went into choosing those songs, and they're such very different songs in tone and in vibe. I know we all really enjoy playing Aurelia live. I believe I speak for all of us on that. That's
Yeah,
one
and
of
the
the
video
group.
is also really up close and personal.
What a great video,
What
right?
a great
Adam
video.
Mason is so talented.
Have you guys seen the video for Aurelia?
Yeah.
You get to know every nook and cranny of these beautiful faces right over here. Where's
Painful.
Gus? Hold on, where's Gus? I got one more thing I want to do. Come here, Gus. So, Gus over here, how many AFI shows have you been to?
Like 25, something like that. A lot.
Wow.
So not that many. Okay. Is there a moment or is there an AFI show that changed your life?
Probably the first one was December 8th, 2000. You guys were opening up for Rancid at the Palladium. Lights cut, jack-o'-lanterns on the stage, Camarina Burana was playing. You guys came out. I was hooked ever since.
Wow, thank you so
Thank you.
much.
All right, so
Yeah.
make some noise if AFI changed your life.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're gonna go ahead and
Thank
we're gonna leave it on that high note. But just
Okay.
to wrap it up, they just finished the first leg of their tour right here in our backyard at the Wiltern, which was absolutely amazing. What are your summer plans?
Same thing.
Same thing, just touring. Do you guys plan to follow AFI? Yay! All right, well, thank you guys. You're part of the fabric that is KROQ, and I mean that. And you've been with us through thick and thin, and it's really nice to see you where you are. And please give it up for AFI.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And also make some noise for yourselves, because I'm sure you skipped work and school and all that responsibility. Thank you guys again. Get up, take a bow. Thank you guys, and thank HD Radio Soundspace and KROQ. I love you.